So hello and welcome to your Pilates session. Today we are going to mobilise the lumbar spine. Focus on a little bit of flexion of the lumbar spine. Some people slouch quite a lot, but that's the upper section of the spine, the thoracic spine. We naturally curve the other way, and we do want to be able to flex through there. I work with a few people, and particularly my eldest son struggles to get that flexion and is not nice on the vertebra of the lower back. We're also going to mobilise and strengthen around the hips. So, yes, it all involves quite a lot of lying down, but doesn't mean it's going to be very easy and relaxing. What we're going to do is put our feet down, shuffle ourselves down and have a lie down on your mat. So, first of all, lengthen through the back of the neck and tuck your chin down a little bit. And you might want to do a few chin tucks. I don't like doing these, but we are going to do them. As we just tuck the chin down. I can't talk and do it at the same time. So you literally just take the chin down, slide the back of your head up the floor. And maybe one more. And then rest. And as you rest, you should be looking either directly up, definitely not behind you. If you're looking behind you, you need something small underneath your head. So either up, or obviously your eyes can glance to the ceiling slightly in front of you. Then think about your shoulders. Very often we put our arms by our side and our shoulders poke forwards and up. We're going to take the arms out and allow the shoulders to sit back, lengthening across the collarbones. As we do this, you may need to just shuffle your shoulder blades and be comfortable on the back of the shoulders between the rib cage, shoulder blades between the rib cage and the floor. Then we're going to bend our knees, if they're not already, and place our feet and knees hip distance apart. So you might need to look, you might not. And I'd like you here to do some pelvic tilts, pushing your lower back into the floor. Now we're going to do this movement quite a lot. So I'd like you to notice how it feels for you right now. We get that little push of our lower back towards the floor, thinking about the pelvic floor and the drawing in feeling around your waist. I'd like you please to do just two more. And then one more, and then allow yourself to settle. So you're resting on the back of the pelvis, the base of the spine, and you've got that little gap, that natural lumbar curve. As you lie here, just become aware of your breathing, maybe slightly deeper breaths. And as you breathe out, just think about relaxing across the shoulders, sitting the shoulders back a little bit. And also notice the pelvic floor muscle and that drawing in feeling around your waist. As you do that, create lightness in your feet and notice where you're resting on the base of the spine and the back of your pelvis. And what we're going to do is just lengthen away one leg as you breathe out, return as you breathe in, and then the other one. Now as you do this, I want you to take that leg lovely and straight. Emphasis on the straightening of your leg, the locking out of the knee, just to simply work the quads a little bit as they cross the knee, but also just hovering the leg slightly off the floor if we can. You don't have to point your toes or flex the foot, but just push the leg away. Can you do four more, please? 3. Last 2, and one more, and then allow your feet to settle back to the centre. And all we're going to do here is allow one knee to lower out to the side and come back up, and then the other. So just getting some movement within the socket of the pelvis, the thigh bone within the pelvis, just moving. That is collectively known as your hip, which you knew. As you just allow that leg to go out to the side and return, and then again. Please, can you do 4 more? Last 2 for me, noticing how far down the left knee can go in comparison to the right. What we're going to do now is just walk the feet out so they're wider than your hips most definitely, and knees quite bent. Engage the core and send your knees to one side. Take that top knee down as close to the floor as you can, and then draw your yourself back. Go across the back of the pelvis to the other side. And then do that again. Draw back and over we go. Try and be lovely and open across the front of your shoulders and your chest. Just allow this lovely rotation of the spine, little bit of rotation of the spine, and this lengthening of muscles, tendons, fascia, right down the side of the body, helping both the lower back and the hips. So we'll do another 4, please. And then 2 more, and 1 more, as we return back to the centre and walk our feet back in, but bring them all the way in so they're stuck together. Keep the arms out nice and wide and do a set of normal hip rolls, sending the knees over to the side. Draw yourself back from your waist. As you do this, notice how it feels, the difference in the exercise. So it's really nice down the side of the hip. This is now really nice in the ribs and the spine as you stay lovely and open across the front of the shoulders and the chest as we go all the way over. Please, can you do another 4? Actively keeping your shoulder blades stuck to the floor. Last 2. And 1 more as the knees go all the way over to this side. And then return. Okay, unglue your knees and feet, take them back to hip distance apart, bring your arms by your side. I'd like you to breathe in. As you breathe out, take both arms up and back above the head and then over the top as you breathe in. Again, breathe out, arms up and back, breathe in on the return. So as we do this, we want to take the arms up and back as far as we can get them. Now, ideally, we can get the back of the wrists and the outside of your elbows on the floor, okay? But that demands quite a lot of flexibility. But if we have a big gap between the arms and the ears, we might be able to do that. We don't need to lift the collarbones and the whole shoulder girdle and go back here. I like broad shoulders. It's much nicer for the neck and much nicer for the shoulders. As you do, just 2 more, please. And 1 more. And then we're simply going to add the lengthening of the leg. So we could just take the arms up, take one leg lovely and long, and return and lengthen away the other leg. So I've kept my feet returning to the floor, but what I just want you to remember is it's about the awareness of that deepest abdominal muscle, that connection between the ribs and the pelvis as we lengthen the leg away and straighten your leg. Why not activate those quadricep muscles whilst we're here? Please, can you do another 2? Now we're going to do some more of these, but I just wanted you to feel the intensity here with the foot return to the floor. Fairly easy for many people. What we're going to do is take our block and we're going to pop it underneath our bottom. Okay, and as we do this, I want you to be on it, but slightly at the top. So what we'll do here, as you lie here, is just a few pelvic tilts. So my pelvis is on the block, and I just tilt the pelvis, pushing the lower back into the floor. Just really trying to get that lengthening of the lumbar spine. Clearly my lower back is not going to go onto the floor. There's a gap here. I can fit my hand underneath it. But what I'm looking for is that extra bit of tilt of the pelvis. And in doing this, as we do 4 more, okay, we are engaging the bottom muscles a little bit, definitely drawing the tummy in. Last 2, 3, I can't count. It's known. And then once you've completed those 4, settle. Make sure you're comfortable and you feel that you're on the block, but just at the top edge. Because if you can, we're going to do those arms and legs again. And as I say, if you can, you could raise the knees. So keep that connection here at the ribs. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lengthen away one leg and your arms. Once again, straighten your leg, please, and tap the floor with your calf or your heel as you take that leg lovely and long. Nice big gap between your arms and your ears. That's it. Activating the quads and lengthening across the hip. We're going to do another 6 of these. I find that from an abdominal intensity point of view, this is a little bit easier, okay? Because we're in that slight tilted position, we will recruit six-pack muscle a little bit to help. And once you have completed your 6, give your knees a hug. And this is the best bit, the rounding, the nice rounding of the back. So we're going to take one leg, hold on to it as you take the other leg along and let it, sorry my shorts were comfy, be straight but lengthen across the front of the hip here. Let it touch the floor, which I'm sure it will, and really hug your other knee. And then change legs. Good. If you want to stay on the block, you can. I'm going to take it out to increase the intensity of the abdominal work. So we're going to get rid of the block. And from here, as I say, you can keep the block in, you can keep your feet down, or you can raise your knees. Let's do another set. Engage the core, breathe in. As you breathe out, lengthen the arms, maybe one leg. Notice how soon the floor is there. And I think those added tilts at the beginning definitely helped. You might want to lengthen the leg and then swap. You might want to do 2 legs and 2 arms and return. However, only do this if you're confident in that core strength, keeping the connection between ribs and pelvis and the small arc of the lower back, aiming to push your lower back a little bit towards the floor. Excellent. Let's do 6 more, please. Remember the range of movement at the shoulders. And then once you've completed those 6, take a moment to have a rest. Oh, and maybe you kept the block in and you added a little bit more length to the front of the hip there, gaining that flexibility. You do, however, now need to take it out because we are going to place our feet on the floor, heels closest to your bottom and hip distance apart. We can relax the arms, but what I'd like you to do is just for a moment do a little bit of bridging. So we're going to do the pelvic tilt. It might feel a bit easier now as we come up and we send the knees away. Gently go down. Now I'm just doing these for a moment. We're going to come back to these. We're just doing these to wake up the glutes as we lift up, send the knees away from you, open through the front of the hips and gently go down. I would like 3 more, please. Noticing your bottom muscles as you lift up. Also notice that maybe it's a bit easier because we have lengthened the muscles across the front of the hips. So we might get that tilt a bit easier and we might lift up and lengthen through the thighs a little easier. Once you've completed those 3, rest and then carefully roll yourself onto one side. Okay, so I've put my arm here to support my head. Please don't do this as much as you might want to. It's not very good on the neck. We lie lovely along and try and make the neck long. If you want to put your block there, which I know some people do, then you can, okay? Or a cushion, whatever is comfy. Top hand in front,
shoulder away from your ear. Now this is where you need to feel that neutral position. Ribs in, tuck the tail under, legs lovely and long. From here, I'd like you please to bend your lower leg. Take the foot behind you. Your knee will maybe come out the front a little bit. And we are lovely and long, right down the side of the body. Now having opened the hips, we can take that leg back a little bit, but without feeling we're pushing our ribs forward. So bring the ribs in. Leg slightly behind you, tap the floor with the inside of your foot and lift this leg 15 times. That's quite a lot, for which I am a little bit sorry, but we're going to work the outer part of the hip here. Okay, and as I say, please stay in that slightly extended position. If your leg is slightly forwards and you go way up there, that's not what we're looking for. Anatomy is such that if you're in the right place, that's all I can get. Perfect for working the stabilising muscles, of which there are many clearly, but these ones are key. Stabilising muscles of the pelvis. As I said, top shoulder away from your ear, your hand can be in front to give you a little bit of stability. Good. Once you've finished your 15, already thinking, oh no, what is she going to do now? You can bring the knee over the top and get a moment of stretch. Your bottom muscles, glute max definitely attaches to the big curve of the pelvis coming round to the outer side of the thigh. So we're going to take this leg lovely and long and we're going to draw a variety of sized circles. So first of all, the direction is forwards and up. I'm going to draw 3 basketballs. 1. Please don't forget to go behind you. Okay, we definitely need to go behind. Then we're going to draw 3 beach balls. Good. And then we're going to draw 3 gym balls. Oh, they're a bit bigger. Behind you. And then 3 big circles. Forwards, up, behind you now. And again. And I know what you're thinking. She only ever usually does 10. Yep. Today is the day of 12. Bring the knee over the top. Let yourself have a little stretch. Okay. We have to do that the other way. It's a rule. As we take the leg lovely and long, create space in the hip. Basketballs, backwards, up, over the top. Please get the backwards. That's the bit I don't mind how far forward you come. You don't really need to come that far forward. But it's about working the muscles of your behind. Beach ball, bit bigger. Top shoulder away from your ear. Gym ball, bigger still. Back, up, over the top. And then again, back and over the top. And then another one, and then 3 really big circles, for which I am sorry. Extend the hip, up, and another one. And then as it comes over, bring the knee here. Gee whiz, not very pleasant, but we're done with those now. So we bring our knees forwards, our feet in line with your bottom. And you'll be really quite surprised when you do this how it's different muscles, so it feels a bit easier. All you're going to do, keep your heels together, lift the top knee up and back. As you do this, taking the knee back as far as you can, but not the pelvis. We don't want to roll back. We keep the pelvis still. So we lift the knee and then down and again. If you've counted, excellent. Count to 10. Only 10. Good, another 2 in my world, I do believe. Notice how far up you can take your knee. And then, weird one, but your knees stay together and you're going to lift the foot. And you might think, oh good Lord, that's hideous. I can feel it right in my pocket. Absolutely can. As we lift the foot as high as you can. I'm trying not to roll my pelvis forward too much. I'm not rolling all the way forwards here. We keep the pelvis pretty still. Just lift the foot, knees, stay together. And 10 of these as well. You might feel it right there in your pocket. And once you've completed 10, rest. I'm hoping that your block is within easy reach, because as we're here, we'll do the arm openings because they're just nice. I quite like, my knees are forwards, but not at, I'm not at 90 at the hips. So I'm going to bring that top knee over like that. So the knee is on the floor. My arms are now at chest level. Lying in this position here, we're going to take the top arm up, roll back. Now from here, I lift my ribs and go round a little bit. You might not get back as far as you normally do because you're in a different position with a lower body. But as you do this, you get a stretch around the hip, which is quite nice, and then return. So you could just do a couple of these. You could literally hold the knee down and enjoy the stretch, enjoy the rotation for a bit, and then return to the normal arm openings if you like. But the choice is yours. Arm openings are all about the lovely rotation of the spine and the stretch across the front of your shoulder and the chest. Please, can you do 3 more? As you go back, open there, rotate the spine, move the ribs if you need. I'm going to do another 2. I quite like the moment of pause at the back. And then another one. I'm going to stay at the back here for a little bit. You're going to do that. Open the arms, stay there for this last one. You can bring the top knee up a bit more if you like. Just get that stretch. We do, however, have to do that all over again on the other side. So you could simply roll over and turn your back on me. I clearly can't do that. I'm going to spin round and we're going to do it again on the other side. So we lie on our arm. Remember, propping your head is not allowed. Just allow your head to rest, but be conscious of your nice neutral position. Top hand in front, shoulder away from the ear, ribs in, hips open, and then we just take the lower foot behind. Top leg is lovely and long as you just open the hip a little bit. Okay, lovely and long, but slightly behind you. If you recall, 15, up and down. Okay, one of the things that I say quite a lot, I haven't said it so much today, is notice. Notice how this feels, and eventually you'll notice it more, on this side in comparison to the other. Okay, notice whether it's a little bit more difficult already. And you may know that one side is not so strong. We generally are more dominant on one side than the other, but notice if it's significant. 15 of these, please. That's it. Fabulous. And once you finish your 15, making sure the leg is slightly behind you, you should feel it right here, slightly to the back of the hip, definitely. Then you can bring the knee over and have a little rest. Itchy nose today, sorry. As we then remember that we've got a variety of size circles to do. The leg goes long. Imagine I pulled it. Don't forget we've got to get hip extension, so the foot goes slightly forwards, up, behind you and down, drawing approximate basketball size circles. And then we draw beach ball size circles, so we get a little bit bigger. And then we get even bigger, so gym ball size circles. Forwards and up. Don't forget a little bit of core so you stabilise yourself. And then even bigger. Excellent. And then you might think, oh, that's just hurty. So you can bring the knee over the top for a little stretch. But we're going to do the other way. So we go long. Space in the hip. lengthen the leg. Take the leg back and up, basketball size circles. Don't forget to get extension, please. You've got to get that leg behind you. Beach ball size circles. And remember, your lower leg is bent to give you some balance, stability. Then we go gym ball. Focus on the extension. That's it. And then we go big ball. Big circle, back, back, back. And really get that lovely extension. And maybe you're going to aim for one more. And rest. So how did that feel in comparison to the other side? Equally as horrible, or actually a little bit better? So we're going to bring the knees forwards, our feet are together. Yes, our knees are in front, but our feet generally in line with your bottom. The heels stay together, and all we did was lift that top knee 10 times. And as I said, you might think, well, this is all right, because it's a different muscle. Piriformis is an outward rotator of the femur, so it outwardly rotates the leg within the socket. And we did 10 of these. So the knees goes out. Now I know we've been doing circles, it will help with the circles, but definitely does this. And we only did 10, it was all right. And notice if this knee doesn't lift quite as high as the other one, try and get the knee up, get the range of movement at the hip, please. And once you've finished your 10, let the leg rest. And then we're going to take the knees together and we're going to lift the foot. Oh, now it might just be me who I did this earlier today and thought, oh gee whiz, that's rather unpleasant after all of those exercises. This is just that little muscle here that sits in your pocket. There's a few others clearly, a little bit of an adductor, but this is called TFL. It flexes and we're in a flexed position at the hip and inwardly rotates the leg. We're lengthening piriformis as well, just a little bit. So we do 10 of these. Notice how high you can get your foot, if at all. And once you've finished those, allow yourself a rest. Or I can do an extra one. And then we did the arm openings. If you remembered your block as you moved, brilliant. And I suggested if you wanted to, you could bring the top knee over a bit. Hands at chest level. From here, we take the arm up. I always find that I'm going to need to move my ribs because I'm not quite that. So I move them round. And at the back here, I really notice the stretch around the hip, which is why I'm doing it, to be perfectly honest. And then return. However, we will stretch the hips in a minute. Gently return. As we do this, as I say, we are rotating the spine, stretching across the chest and shoulder. You might think, actually, I'm going to bring my knees together and focus on that, the rotation of the spine. So you need to have your knees up. Oh, and this is just a fabulous stretchy exercise. It's really good for us. So we're going to do 3 more. And on the third one, we'll stay at the back and enjoy the stretch. Oh, excellent. Last one. And stay there, stay there. Bring the knee up a little bit more. Rotate the spine a little bit more. Don't fall asleep like this. If you fell asleep like this, I think you'd be in a world of pain when you woke up because you're stretching quite a few muscles. So we gently bring ourselves back over. And I feel the need to stretch these muscles around the side of the hip. So you can choose. Some people like to do this one where you lie on your back and bring the leg in. And you can absolutely do that. The aim would be definitely to get that leg out. Okay, and then get hold of the other thigh as you bring up. I personally prefer to bring my knee over the top and give it a hug.
and rotate the spine. Really lovely hug. Sitting nice and tall. And then gently release. Now, of course, I know there's some new hips, so this isn't ideal for new hips. You can adapt and not twist quite so much, okay, but you want to try and get a stretch as best you can, but you don't want to dislocate that lovely new hip. Wouldn't be ideal. Right, if you're not seated, you need to be. So we untie the legs and move, and I'm going to move my block back. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is lie here. We're not lying, sit here. Maybe with your legs straight, but I totally understand that sitting like this with legs straight is quite difficult if we have slightly tight hamstrings. So you could bend your knees, but what I want to focus on is the long muscles of our back. So we're going to round the back and then draw ourselves back up, sliding the shoulder blades down the back and lengthening the neck. And then we're going to do that again. Now you could just dive down into your lap and come back up. You could dive down into your lap and then drift forwards, feeling that stretch in the back first, the rounding of the back, and then it's going to shift into your hamstrings, which might or might not be very pleasant. But what I'd like is, as I said, you lift up nice and tall. We're just going to do 2 more. Because what I'd like to do is we're moving the spine here, yes, and we're coming back up and focusing on that being lovely and tall. But really, that's a sort of the thoracic flexion that maybe we do all day. What I want is lumbar flexion. So we're going to bend our knees and sit nice and tall. Now your hamstrings make lovely handles. So we're simply going to sit tall and then move the bottom of the spine first. So we tuck the tail under, rock onto the back of the pelvis. Now you can hold your legs and then come up. Lift up onto the bony bits of your bottom. Now that bit is just as important as the tuck the tail under and rock back. Now you might go back a bit further and need to let go with your hands, which you can do, but it's the tuck the tail under. Shoulders away from your ears, try and get onto the back of the pelvis and then lift up. Now you could carry on doing that. Some of you, I know, will be able to tuck the tail under, go onto the back of the pelvis and maybe tap the lower back on the floor and then come up. But we need to be very confident in that core strength. Okay, so a lot of weight sitting on the lumbar vertebra. So please be careful. You can, of course, keep hold of the knees and just go back here. As you do 2 more, please. So tall, rock back, maybe you let go, maybe tap the floor. And then I would like, if you are able, I'd like a full roll down. So focus on the tuck the tail under. Now if you can't do a full roll down very easily, focus on the tuck the tail under, go back as far as you can and then take one leg with you. And then we breathe in, as you breathe out, the leg leads. As you lift the head, draw the ribs down, push the lower back into the floor and come up and sit tall and see if you can do it with the other leg. Some of you might think, well, there's no point in doing that because I could do a full roll up. Be my guest and do 2 more, please. Notice I've kept my knees bent today. You can do the same. Oh, and then rest. Okay, for a bit more movement of the spine, we're going to go onto our hands and knees. If you struggle kneeling, I'd like you to go onto your front.
Okay, so we're just going to roll on over, either lying on your front, and we're simply going to move the spine, so you're going to do spine extension, or we're here with our hands under our knees, no. Did I say hands under knees? I did. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. As you push up with the hands, draw the shoulders back, lengthen the neck. From here, you're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, tuck the tail under, draw the tummy in and push your back up towards the ceiling. And then I'd like you to go down. So you're going to lead with the tail, push the tail away, take the tummy towards the floor, shoulders go back and you look forwards. And then we do that again. So, if you're doing this quite happily, fabulous. If you're lying on your front, you're working on a little bit of extension. So you could simply take your hands wide, breathe in as you breathe out. Look forwards and push. And gently go down. And then again. Shoulders away from your ears and that lovely bit of extension of the spine. Let's all do 3 more. So nice bit of flexion and extension. Last 2. This is a really nice, safe way of moving the spine. But again, it's quite difficult to get extra movement. You've got to really use your abdominals to get that tail tucked under. And then when you finish, you either stay laying on your front, or take the knees out and just push yourself back. Sit yourself back and just let the bottom lower and round through the lower back there and bring your arms forwards. Wherever you are, wherever you've ended up, just take a few deep breaths into the back of your rib cage, please. So you might need to not reach with your hands so much. Maybe you support your head. But breathe right into the back of the ribs. And then relax. And then again, nice big deep breath. I'd like you to do 2 more. Try and expand your ribs. And right down into the lower back. Help your lower back expand by breathing right into the bottom of the lungs. And then relax. And then very carefully, we're going to roll ourselves over and have a lie on our back. And we will need our block. You might find as you lie down, feels quite comfortable, a bit of a relief to lie on your back. And we're just going to take our block and pop it between our knees. And then take your feet block distance apart. Not together, don't put your feet together, just a little bit apart. Let's return to the bridging. So, we, make sure your feet aren't too far away. We do a pelvic tilt, push the lower back into the floor. Notice how that feels. And then peel your spine off the floor and send your knees ahead of you, your feet flat on the floor. Gently go down. Now remember, nice and open across the shoulders. So if you've got your arms by your side and your shoulders are poking up, take the arms out, sit the shoulders back, and do a few more of these, please. Emphasising the pelvic tilt at the beginning and noticing your bottom muscles as you peel yourself up, sending the knees ahead of you. What I would also like you to do, please, is just squeeze the block a bit more than just holding it. Notice your inner thigh muscles. That will also make you use your pelvic floor muscle a little bit more. And of course, we're using our biggest bottom muscle, gluteus maximus, to push us up. To do the tilt, also draw the tummy in. And I'd like 3 more, please. Last 2. And 1 more. And then we remove the block from between your knees
pop it to one side. Take your feet back to about hip distance, and you might feel quite comfortable here. And let's do 2 more. Notice the tilt again. Try and really get your lower back into the floor. You don't need to lift your ribs. Keep the tail tucked under. I would rather you stay lower and tuck under more than go too high. Definitely. So you're going to become a bit more aware of your bottom muscles here. So we bridge our way up. We stay up. We push through one foot and lift the other. Maybe a bit, maybe up. Or maybe send the leg long and do 6 on one side. Tap the floor, lift the leg, lift the knee, lengthen the leg, your choice. 6 times. Notice whether the hips are level and up. And once you've done 6, pop the foot down. Notice whether you've dropped, get back up, tuck the tail under, do the other side. Right, as you do this other side, notice, is it easy on this side or more difficult? I definitely have quite a significant difference in the strength of my hips at the moment. Not great, obviously causing a bit of problems. So it's important that we notice these things. Once you've done 6, pop your foot down. Hips level, go back down. We're going to do that twice more. So I want you to do a few things. Make sure you get the tilt. Come up, keep the tilt. Use your bottom muscles. Push through one foot, lift the other 6 times. Now you could lift your arms off the floor to make it more difficult. You do not have to. If you're straightening the leg, straighten the leg. Squeeze your quads. Why not? And then foot down, are your hips up, are they level? Swap sides. Good. Once you've completed the 6 of those, foot down, ribs down, tuck the tail under, really try and get the lower back onto the floor. 1 more, okay, 1 more set. Tilt, 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 push the back. Imprint your spine on the floor. Peel your spine off the floor. Arms don't have to be up, but they can be. As we lengthen or lift one leg. Really tuck the tail under. Really notice the effort on that one side. Once you've done your 6, your foot goes down, your hips are up, your tail is under. We do another 6 on the other side. Again, notice, you might have felt as strong on one side as the other initially, but has one side fatigued more quickly. As you finish your 6, are your hips still up? Draw your ribs down, and then the best bit, bring your knees in, give your knees a hug. Good. Hold on to one knee. Send the other leg, lovely and long, as you hug this knee. This is quite good to stretch to. Many people might think, oh, this feels easy. Some people can't bring their knee right in. You want to bring the knee right in. Let's change legs. Good. I've circled my foot and I can see some of you have too. Right, let's focus on our core. So what we're going to do here with our feet on the floor, we're going to take our arms up and back, but this time, upon their return, if you're happy, curl up. If you think, oh, I don't like curling up, it's not very nice for my neck, then don't do it. Just take the arms up and back and return. Now the other thing that we could do is bring the arms around the side if you have the room and your shoulders are happy to do this. Now we've moved the spine a bit, so you might think, oh, I've got quite good flexion of the spine. Keep a gap between your chin and your chest, and also as you come up, do a little bit of a pelvic tilt. Push your lower back into the floor and really get a bit more flexion of your spine. Please, can you do 3 more? And then you can take a moment to rest. Of course, we're going to add legs to that. The choice for you, you could curl up and push one leg away and then return. Okay, it's a little bit easier on the core, but you lose the opportunity to really push the lower back into the floor and flex the spine a bit more. So the choice is yours. You can do exactly the same with your knees up as well. So you could take one leg long, arms long, return. Really, you could bring the knees in, you could push your lower back towards the floor and get that nice flexion of the spine, definitely working that 6-pack muscle that runs down the front. Of course, you can curl up and lengthen the leg away, which I quite like. It's another nice way of working your core. A little bit of light relief here and then here. Shall we do 4 more? If that's not enough for you, do a token extra 2. And then give your knees a hug. I still want to continue with the core, but I still want to get that flexion of the lumbar spine. So I would like 1 more set with the block underneath your bottom. So I've got my block, I'm popping my bottom at the top edge. Okay, I'm on it, on the block, and I'd like a few of those pelvic tilts first. So tilt the pelvis and then return. And again, tilt the pelvis. Draw your tummy in. Notice your abdominals as you do this, so maybe you just really work that 6-pack muscle quite hard. You're using it to tilt the pelvis. We're working it even harder, or again, I should say, and we are flexing the lumbar spine. That's what that muscle does. That 6-pack muscle flexes the lumbar spine. So I'm going to ask you to do 1 more. And then rest. Then we're going to add the legs and the arms. So you can be here, comfortable on the block. Feet can be down or knees up. Don't forget that connection here. Lengthen away, straighten your leg, return the arms. And again, maybe you're bringing the arms around the side. Choice is yours. You might not want round the side, you might want over the top. Try and get that nice range of movement at the shoulders. Get the elbows out and hands back as far as you can. Tighten the quads, straighten the leg, open the hip. Let's do 4 more. And then give yourself a hug. Good. I like this hug. I'm going to do 1 more set without the block. The choice is yours. If you want to keep it in, keep it in. But I'm going to take it out, and if you wanted to, you could go back to the curl-ups again if you wish. But either way, we're here, aware of this lovely long spine, aware of the connection between the ribs and pelvis. Maybe you raise your knees, and maybe you go all out and do double legs, double arms, and curl up. Or 1 arm. 1 arm? No. Both arms, 1 leg. I think range of movement at the shoulders, as you do 12 repetitions, please, is really important for posture. Okay, so we need good flexion of the shoulders, taking the arms up and back. Moving bigger will help that. once you've completed your 12, have a rest. But make sure you challenge yourself as much as you can today to the bitter end. And once you've finished, hug the knees. As you hug the knees, just rock side to side. It's quite nice to just rock on the lower back here, just to get that little bit of movement and pressure on the lumbar spine. Your back will like it. But what we are going to do now is just take one leg down, slide it away, other leg down, slide it away, arms out nice and wide. Now if the block was underneath your bottom, take it out. And all I'd like you to do now is just be nice and open across the shoulders, sit your shoulders back, let your feet roll out, let your neck be long. And notice as you lie here with your lying with any tension, and hopefully not. And what I'd like you to do now is just take a moment to focus on your breathing. Take a lovely deep breath in, ideally through your nose. And then hold on to that breath for a moment and breathe out. Empty your lungs. And then take another big, gentle breath in, noticing whether you lift the ribs and the chest or whether you breathe right down into the bottom of your lungs and expand your tummy. Hold it for a bit and then breathe out. Feel you are deflating. And as you breathe out, just allow your body to relax. Encourage your muscles to just let go. As you lie here, open across the shoulders, open across the hips, lovely and long in your spine. Just encouraging your body to take a moment to rest and recover. Please do 2 more of these deep breaths. Noticing if you can take a deeper breath in, and if you can breathe out just a little bit more. And notice how that has made you feel. Totally relaxed. Your body is resting a little bit more heavily onto your mat. Your shoulders are open, hips, spine long. Even your eyes are resting in the sockets. I'd like you just to start by wiggling your fingers and your toes, because we need to bring you back round and into the rest of your day. You might want to stretch. You might want to gradually move, waking each muscle slowly before you contemplate bringing yourself up into a seated position. And you might not even open your eyes yet. And I hope that when you come up, you feel quite relaxed. And it would be nice if you could stay in that state for the rest of your day if you were allowed. And I really hope that when you come to get up, you might be a little bit aware of the hips, but that they feel more mobile. And I also hope that you're aware of your spine feeling more mobile. So please just be careful, and thank you very, very much for joining me. Well done.